Right now, tonight, while you are watching this video, your bank is running an automated calculation on every single transaction you make. Every transfer, every withdrawal, every time you send money to your own child. And if that calculation produces the wrong number, your account gets locked. Not because you did anything wrong. Not because the money is gone, because an AI system that has never met you decided your transaction looked suspicious. And here is what makes this dangerous specifically for you. The triggers that cause these lockouts are not random. They are built around behavioral patterns that are most common in people over 60, which means the system that was supposedly designed to protect you is also the system most likely to trap you. Before this video ends, I am going to show you exactly which banks are doing this, which 5 specific actions trigger a lockout, and the one thing you can do this week that legal experts say reduces a 15-day account freeze to a 15-minute phone call. Stay until the end because the last one is the one almost nobody knows about, and it is the most powerful protection on this entire list. Subscribe right now and hit the bell. Canadian banking rules are changing without warning in 2026, and your bank will not call you before your account is affected. Subscribe now. Now let me show you exactly what is happening. Tell me in the comments right now, have you ever had a bank transaction blocked, delayed, or questioned without warning? Yes or no? Drop your province below. Because what this community shares shapes exactly what we cover next. Here is what is actually happening inside Canadian banks right now in 2026, and why it is catching people exactly like you completely off guard. Banks across Canada are under enormous pressure from financial regulators, the Financial Consumer Agency of Canada, FCAC, and provincial consumer protection offices to stop what authorities estimate is a multi-billion-dollar annual wave of financial fraud targeting people over 60. In response, every major Canadian bank, TD, RBC, Scotiabank, BMO, CIBC, and most credit unions, has deployed artificial intelligence systems that monitor your account in real time. Every transaction, every login, every transfer pattern, every time you use your phone to access your account. Here is what those systems are actually looking for. They have built a profile of your financial behavior over time. They know roughly how much comes in each month. They know how much you typically withdraw. They know which merchants you buy from and when. They know how fast you normally type on your phone when you log into your banking app. And when something falls outside that profile, a large withdrawal you do not usually make, a transfer to someone you have not paid before, a login from a different device, even hesitation in your typing pattern that suggests someone might be coaching you, the algorithm flags it. At that point, the bank does not call you first. The bank does not send a text asking if the transaction is legitimate. The bank freezes the account. And under the Financial Consumer Agency of Canada's updated compliance guidelines and the elder financial protection provisions that most major banks adopted under their voluntary code of conduct, your money sits there, locked, while the bank investigates. That investigation can take up to 15 business days, 3 full calendar weeks, during which your bills keep coming, your medications still need to be purchased, and your CPP and OAS deposits arrive into an account you cannot access. Now here's the part that most coverage of this issue completely misses, and this is the number that changes everything. The average lockout for a Canadian account flagged by these systems traps between $3,500 and $10,000 for up to 2 weeks at a time. Not a small inconvenience. For someone living on a fixed monthly income, that is the difference between paying rent on the first and explaining to a landlord why the transfer did not go through, between filling a prescription and waiting, between a heating bill paid and a disconnection notice. And the system that created this problem was not designed to target you maliciously. It was designed to stop fraud. The problem is that the behavioral patterns it was trained to flag as suspicious, unusual transfers, large cash withdrawals, sending money to new recipients, hesitation on digital devices, are also the completely normal behaviors of any person over 60 who is adapting to digital banking, helping a grandchild, or making a one-time large purchase. The AI does not know the difference between a grandmother sending a birthday gift and a fraud victim being coerced. It sees the same pattern, and it does the same thing. Canadians who work with financial advisors or private banking specialists had their accounts structured months ago to avoid triggering these systems. Most Canadians on fixed incomes find out these rules exist only when the transaction fails, and the customer service representative explains that there is nothing they can do until the investigation closes. Now you know before that happens. Now here is the part most coverage completely misses, and this one involves the CRA, not your bank. When your bank account is frozen and your CPP, OAS, or GIS deposit arrives during the lockout period, that deposit goes into the frozen account. It does not redirect automatically to a secondary account. It does not hold at Service Canada until the freeze is lifted. It deposits into the locked account and sits there, inaccessible, until the investigation closes. In real numbers, if your combined CPP and OAS deposit is $1,200 per month and your account is frozen for 15 business days, which spans across 2 calendar weeks, you lose access to the full month's deposit during a period when your regular pre-authorized payments are still attempting to process. Rent, insurance, phone, utilities, all of those payments attempt to pull from the frozen account. All of them fail, and each failed payment can trigger a non-sufficient funds fee from both the bank and the payee. At $25 to $45 per failed transaction, 5 pre-authorized payments during a 15-day freeze can cost you between $125 and $225 in fees alone, on top of the stress of having no access to your own money. You had no idea this connection existed. Most people find find out only when the first NSF notice arrives in the mail after the account has been unfrozen and the investigation has closed. Did you know that a bank account freeze can cause your CPP and OAS deposits to become inaccessible and trigger NSF fees on every pre-authorized payment during the lockout period? Drop your answer below right now. I want to know how many people watching this had no idea these two things were connected. There are 5 specific actions that are triggering these account freezes in Canada in 2026, and I'm going to tell you each one because knowing them is exactly how you protect yourself. The first is Interac e-transfer to a new recipient. If you send an e-transfer to someone you have never paid before, even your own adult child who recently changed their bank, the AI flags it, not because of the amount, because of the novelty. A transfer to a new recipient is one of the highest risk categories in the current fraud detection model because it matches the pattern of grandparent scam payments. The fix is simple, but you have to do it in advance. Call your bank before making any e-transfer to a new recipient and create a record that the transfer is expected and intentional. The second is large or unusual cash withdrawals. If you walk into your branch and request a cash withdrawal significantly larger than anything in your recent history, several $1,000s, the teller is now trained to ask why. They are not being invasive. They are following compliance protocols specifically designed to catch situations where a person is being pressured by a scammer to withdraw cash. If your explanation does not satisfy the system, the transaction can be delayed or blocked. Some branches now require advance notice for cash withdrawals above $5,000 with several days lead time. If you need a large cash amount, call the branch the day before and let them know. The third is accessing your account from a different device or location. If you log into your bank app from a new phone, from a tablet you do not usually use, or from a location that is different from your usual pattern, a family member's home, a hotel, a hospital, the system flags the login as potentially unauthorized. This is one of the most common false positive triggers for people over 60 who travel, visit family, or upgrade their phone. Register new devices with your bank before you travel and before you switch phones. The fourth is accounts that have been inactive. If you have a savings account, a GIC, or an emergency fund that you rarely touch, money sitting there for security, the kind every careful person keeps, that account is being reclassified as dormant in many bank systems if you have not personally initiated a transaction in 12 to 24 months. Automatic transactions, interest deposits, scheduled transfers, dividend payments no longer count as activity under the new monitoring rules in 2026. Only transactions you personally initiate count. If you have not logged in, called your bank, or made a manual transaction in the past year, your account may already be classified as dormant. Log into every account you hold and make one manual transaction. That single action resets the dormancy clock. The fifth trigger is the one that is most specific to Canada, and that almost no coverage of this issue explains. The Financial Consumer Agency of Canada's voluntary code of conduct for the delivery of banking services to seniors, which all major Canadian banks adopted under their agreement with FCAC, gives bank employees the authority to flag a transaction and delay processing if they have a reasonable concern that the account holder may be experiencing financial exploitation. That flagging can be triggered not just by the transaction itself, but by behavioral cues. If you appear confused, if someone unfamiliar is with you at the branch, if your demeanor suggests stress or pressure, the intent is protective. The effect, for an innocent person who is simply anxious about a large transaction or who brought a family member for support, can be a hold on their funds while the branch reports the concern to a supervisor. The single most effective protection against all 5 of these triggers is something called a trusted contact. This is a person you formally designate on your bank account, a family member, a close friend, a trusted advisor, who the bank can call when they suspect something is wrong. They cannot access your money. They cannot make transactions. They are simply someone the bank can call to confirm that a transfer is legitimate. Legal experts and Elder Financial Protection say that having a verified trusted contact on file can reduce a 15-day account freeze to a 15-minute phone call. The bank calls your trusted contact. The contact confirms the transaction is legitimate. The hold is lifted. You can add a trusted contact by calling your bank or visiting any branch. It takes approximately 10 minutes and costs nothing. And it is the one action that legal and financial experts consistently identify as the most effective protection against every trigger on this list. 3 steps you can complete this week. Step 1. Call your bank today and ask 2 specific questions. First, ask whether you have a trusted contact formally designated on your account. If you do not, ask to add one during that same call. Give the name and phone number of a family member or trusted person who could confirm your transactions if the bank ever needs to verify. Second, ask the bank representative to note in your file any upcoming large transactions or unusual activity you are planning. A large cash withdrawal, an e-transfer to a new recipient, a significant purchase. That notation creates a record the AI system can see before the transaction processes. Step 2, log into every account you hold at your bank, checking, savings, GICs, any account you rarely touch, and make one manual transaction in each, a small transfer between accounts, a balance inquiry initiated by you rather than automatic, any action that registers as a personally initiated transaction. This single step prevents dormancy classification and keeps every account's activity status current in the fraud monitoring system. Step 3, share this video today with one person in your life who banks at TD, RBC, Scotiabank, BMO, CIBC, or any major Canadian credit union, and who has never heard about trusted contacts or the new AI monitoring systems. That person may be one large withdrawal away from a 15-day freeze on their own money. One share from you could prevent that. One more thing before we close. No bank in Canada, not TD, not RBC, not Scotiabank, not any legitimate institution, will call you demanding that you verify your account by providing your full banking password or PIN by phone. They will never ask you to transfer funds to a secure account to protect them from fraud. They will never text you a link asking you to confirm your identity to unfreeze your account. If you receive any contact like that, hang up immediately and call your bank directly using the number on the back of your bank card. Real bank security teams do not call with urgent demands. Real account flags are handled when you call them. What surprised you most in this video? Was it the 15-day freeze window, the NSF connection to your CPP and OAS deposits, or the trusted contact fix that takes 10 minutes at your branch? Drop your answer and your province in the comments right now. I read every single one. And if this video helped you, hit the like button right now. 1 second. It is the only way this reaches the next person whose account is one flagged transaction away from a 15-day lockout. Your money did not go anywhere. It is sitting in that account right now exactly where you left it. The system that locked you out was not trying to steal from you. It was trying to protect you from someone else. The problem is that the protection and the trap look identical from the inside of a frozen account. The trusted contact. 10 minutes, one phone call. That is the difference between a 15-day investigation and a 15-minute conversation. You now know. Share this with someone you love who banks at any major Canadian institution before their next large transaction becomes the one that triggers the algorithm. I am Henry Jaden. Take care of yourself.